Hey guys, this is Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today is Thursday, December 29th, and it's free Premium Thursday, so I post all of our sheets in the free Facebook group for everybody to play with, try out, see if you like them. So typically what I wanted to do today, since I'm off all week, is just do a video for NBA sports betting and then just kind of walk through the sheet and show you some of the things that I look for. So when I look through the NBA cheat sheet, one of the things I'm doing is comparing our model, which you can see right here. This is just the main model, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and look for differences of 7. And then you can see here it's going to say Indy by 6, lean over by 1, so those are fairly close. So if you see a difference of 7, I'm not saying go bet the house on that game. I'm saying that's a game that you should look into. Now keep in mind, if there are star players ruled out, for example, the Clippers, if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard aren't going to play and our model has the Clippers winning, throw it out the window because you have to go make manual adjustments for those players being ruled out. So typically one of the things I do is one of these books like Vegas Insider, come over here and take a look at the money. See which way the lines move in, see where the cash and the tickets are, look at the money, and we're going to take a look at that today. I'm going to give you an example. So, as always, click into the bottom team, this home team right here. You see when you do that, you get this little caret drop down, and then you've got a scroller bar here, and you can scroll up and down, and it's got room for all of the games. So we're going to start at the top and just work our way down. So, Cleveland at Indy. Real quick, I'm going to glance here. I see PR, so that means there's a prior matchup. So I scroll down here. So these teams have played once. It was on the 16th, and it was 118 to 112. Cleveland won the game by 6. Cleveland's favored by 5.5. The difference is they're on the road this time versus at home. I'm going to look at the trends over here. Really, nothing jumps out at me. So this game I don't really like. I'm not going to touch it. Our model has it as a tight game. Cleveland won the previous matchup. So if I was going to bet it, I would lean over to Indy plus the 5.5. But again, it's not a game that I am going to jump on. Going down, we have Oklahoma City at Charlotte. Here we see OKC by 9. So since this is more than 7, this is a game you want to take a look at. So our model has this with OKC winning 121 to 113 roughly. So we have OKC by 8, and it's pretty much pick 'em when it opened this morning. When you're looking at our last 10 power rankings, we have 19 versus 30, and then our cheat sheet power rankings, 12 versus 27th. I like to compare both of these to get an idea because they evaluate on different things. Looking at the last 10, neither team has been good. Oklahoma City is 4-6, Charlotte's 2-8. So nothing great there, but if you're looking at the ATS numbers, Oklahoma City is a little better play. Here we see OKC is 21-13, which is good. And then Charlotte's 15-18-2 against the number, so they're upside down. And then this is the home versus the road. So OKC on the road is a 10-6 ATS play. And then Charlotte at home, they're 5-10 ATS. So trend-wise, if you're a big trend better, Oklahoma City is the way to go. If you follow our model, I do like Oklahoma City in this matchup. One of the things I do is I want to flip through the schedule and look at recent games. So here we can see OKC, they've won 4 of the last 5 games. The only game they lost was to the Pelicans by 3. So that was a close game. Now these wins are close, and you can see they're color-coded over here. Red, they got blown out. Green, they were on the winning side of the blowout. And they had a streak of losses here, but look who they played. Memphis, Cleveland, Dallas, Miami, Minnesota. Tough matchups. And then they came here with some more mediocre matchups, and they've been playing really good. So I like Oklahoma City in this spot. Come over here at Charlotte, and real quickly, I see they're 2-8 with a -10 differential, scoring an average of 115 points and allowing 125. And look how many blowouts they've had in the last 10 games. So I consider a blowout a double-digit loss. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double-digit losses, and then 4 losses by 4 or more. And they did pick up a couple wins one against the Lakers, one against Sacramento, but just several losses even before that. I mean, statistically, if you were writing something up, you could go here and say, hey, they're 2-11 over the last 13 games, so not real good. Looking at the trends over here, they're 4-11 straight up at home. Oklahoma City's 5-11 on the road, so nothing great there. ATS numbers we talked about, 5-10 versus 10-6. Lean Oklahoma City here. Again, a team that's upside down over the last 10. I don't love, but I'll throw a unit or two on Oklahoma City in this spot and see if they can get a win here. So Oklahoma City is going to be our first play. And one of the things I forgot to tell you, I want to come over here. So over here we've got let me make sure you can see this. Okay. So over here, this is one of the sites. It shows kind of money, how it moves through the day. It's typically pretty early. It's 9:15 in the morning, so you're not going to see a lot. So Thunder Hornets, you can see it opened at 1. It's still -1. The total opened at 240.5. It's down to 238.5. 64% of the cash is on the Thunder. This early, that's not very much. And then you can see a lot of money's on the under. I'm not going to touch the total here. 241 is a lot of points, but you can see Oklahoma City's been over that in 3 of the last 4 games. And then Charlotte, they've been way under, right under, way over. So a little sporadic. And then trend-wise, 8-8, 5-10. I don't want to get involved, so I'm going to take Oklahoma City here. Flipping on to the third game, we have Memphis at Toronto. Looking at the power rankings, we do see some differences here. So the cheat sheet power ranking has Toronto and Memphis significantly different than the last 10 games, which flips it the other way. So this is a game I'm interested in. I want to take a look at. Looking at the last 10, Memphis is 6-4. Toronto's only 3-7. ATS, they're about the same, hovering around 500. Now, the home versus road ATS, Toronto's 9-8 at home, which we can also see over here in this spot. And then Memphis is only 4-12 against the number on the road. So that is not very good. And again, you can see it here. So Memphis, ATS at home, they're 11-4. Really good. On the road, 4-12. Really bad. So that should jump out at you and something you should take into consideration. Now you can see here we have Toronto by 5. So it's not 7. So it doesn't make the flag to dig into the game. But this is a game I do like. The 7's not an end-all, be-all, just like the cheat sheet projection's not an end-all, be-all. I bet games against the sheet model all the time. This is just a guide, so take it with a grain of salt. So looking at this, we've got a fairly close game, but we have Toronto winning by 2, and they're getting +3. So the play I'm going to do here, I'm not going to take 2 or 3 points in an NBA game. I'm just going to take the money line or put it in a same-game parlay. But I'm going to take Toronto money line in this spot. They're decent at home, 9-8 ATS. Memphis has been terrible on the road, but I want to look at recent games as well. Now, this little NA, I should have it blacked out, but if there's no lines over here, there's no flag that they've played before. So typically, you'll see 3 little arrows that point to the game where they previously played. So it's something quick you can do to check out the schedule. So looking at recent games, we have Memphis. Okay, this is just ugly. They've lost 4 of 5. And the last 3 of the last 4 have been blowout losses. They lost by 17 to Phoenix, 14 to Golden State, and 14 to Denver, and 6 to OKC. Now, they were on a run here for a while, but one thing you notice is, look, these were all home games over here. So, with the exception of this last game where they got blown out by Phoenix, these last 4 home games, they won by 41, 25, 11, and 21. That's really good. Then they went on the road, lost by 14, lost by 14, lost by 6. So we're starting to see, and you can dig down deeper in these games, but typically they're not playing as well on the road. When I come over here and look at Toronto, the one thing that jumps out at me is a huge stretch of 6 losses right here. Mix of home and road. They got beat by Orlando, who's not real good. They got beat by Sacramento. Barely beat Brooklyn, or barely got beat by Brooklyn. Got crushed by Golden State. Barely beat by Philadelphia. So they've had a little run of bad luck here. They haven't been doing as well. But then they came back and had 2 good wins on the road. They beat Cleveland and they beat the Knicks by 7 and 11. And then they lost to the Clippers, which the Clippers are playing really good right now. So I'm okay with that. But I look at this and say, hey, they've won 2 or 3 games. They're a home dog. They're playing at home. They're 1 game over the number. I'm going to take a shot here at Toronto money line and see if they can't turn this thing around. So the second game I like is going to be a Toronto money line. And we're going to flip over here and see where the money's at. So Grizzlies, Raptors. Grizzlies open at -2. They're out to -3. Memphis has 89% of the money. and 53% of the tickets. So the early money is on the Grizzlies, but I'm going to go against it here, and I'm going to go with the Raptors at home. As long as Siakam plays, I'm good taking a shot there. If you're doing a same game parlay, I love doing something with Siakam and Ja Morant, and then a points rebound prop with Clark, but again, that's for another video. And then flipping down here, we have the Knicks at the Spurs. So last 10 power rankings, Knicks are all the way up to number 2. Cheat sheet, we have them a little bit closer in the bottom third of teams. So our model here, we have it about 7. They're laying 4.5. We have a -7, a difference of 3. That's not enough to really do anything for me, so it doesn't really jump out. But one thing you do notice is that over here it says lean over by 12. Okay, well that's significantly different. So we have this at 238.8 points, which is huge, and it's a 226.5 open. So I'm going to jump over here, take a look at the money and see. So over here we don't have any money or tickets yet that are showing up. But this total opened at 230 and it's dropped to 226. So you can see this is trending in the wrong way. So we like the over, but you can see opened at 230 and it's 9:20 in the morning and it's already down 4 points to 226. So take that with your bets. Now, I like the over looking at the sheet, but there's a reason this thing's dropping 4 points. So I'm not going to bet it this morning. I'm going to wait till this afternoon and see maybe it will drop a little bit more. And I want to see when the cash comes in, which side it's going on, and make a decision at that point. But initially, I like this over 226, 226.5. Our model has it going over. Typically, the average sports bettor is a losing player. But if the line moves that fast, that quick, there's usually a reason why. So take that with a grain of salt. So let's dig into it. So we don't have any previous matchups. The Knicks have lost 4 games in a row, but look at these totals in the last 3. 247, 231, 235. So they've got 3 games they've played way over that total, which is good. And then over here, the Spurs, they're kind of up and down. They're 2-3 over the last 5 games, and they lost 2, then they won 3. But look at their totals, 244, 248, 246, 243. I don't mind taking a shot at the over here, especially if it's dropping down to make it a little bit easier for us. It's like getting 3 points on a free teaser. So they've got 4 games in a row well over this number. And then they've got 3 games in a row well over this number. If you want to dig in deeper, you can come down here and look at some of these additional stats as far as like efficiency, points per game. San Antonio, a 1.15. That means they're allowing 115 points per 100 possessions. That's really bad defensively. And then you come down here, so there's a difference in your pace. So looking at this pace, I'm going to do a quick explainer for you. So the league average, it's about 102, 102.5, sometimes 103. It kind of bounces in that range. It's been that way consistently for years. So you can see what they average on the season. So they're both averaging over average. Over the last 3 games, the Knicks have averaged a lot less possessions at 99, and the Spurs have went the other way to 107. So that's probably why this game is pulling down, is because the Knicks are playing at a 99 pace versus a league average of 102. But then the Spurs on the other side, they're playing fast at 107. So if the Knicks got out in this game to a big lead, I could see them slowing it down in this game going under. But if the Spurs get a lead and they're running, the Knicks are going to have to run, and this game's going to go over. I hate betting under, so I'm going to go with the over here. If you average these out, so we don't want to use a 99 and the 103 for the season's kind of watered down. So if we split those out, we get a 101.2. And then for the Spurs, they're at 104 and then 107 the last 3. I'm going to average those out to 105. And then just take somewhere in the middle of these two, which is going to put us about 103.5, which back and forth with the league average, it's going to give us a roto pace of around 105, which is a significant game that's going to shoot over. So 103.5 is what I would use for calculation purposes. And then you can see over here in our total checker, I haven't really used this box a lot this year, but you can see we got a high pace and we got a low pace. So low pace is like if the Knicks came in and made it 99, or the Spurs ran with it and everybody got up to 107, then we're at around 218 to 236. If we middle it and average it out, we put it about 228, which would have been right around the number, but since the numbers went under that, now it's going to lean to an over. And then if we look at the last 3 games, Combined points per game is 234.4, so that's way over. Allowed points per game over the last three, 249.3, that's way over. And then if we use this roto pace, it puts us at 231.6. So the game could go under, but a lot of things are pointing at the over, so I do like taking a shot here at the over, even though it is against the betting public. So play number 3 is going to be the Knicks over. We got 2 more games to look at. Let me skip down here to Dallas-Houston. I'm not going to do anything on this game. Dallas minus 10.5, and we got Dallas minus 10, so we're right on the Vegas number. The total, we got it within 5 points. We got it at 230, 225. If you wanted to play over there, you could. Dallas at home, they're 12-7 for an over. Houston's 9-9 on the road. Nothing that jumps out there. Dallas really good straight up at home, but not real good against the number. So if I was going to lean anything, I'd probably lean Houston here, looking at some recent games. But again, I don't feel confident in a team that's 3-7 and upside down against the number. Houston, you can see here, they've lost, 6 of the last 7 games, 3 of them by double-digit blowouts, so they easily could get crushed in this game. And then Dallas, they've won 4 straight games, although the last 4 have all been by less than 10 points. And you can see here, this flag, they've even played, let me look it out on this side. So Dallas has even played Houston back on December 23rd, and they beat them 112-106, so it was only a 6-point win. And you see another one down here where they played them at home, and they actually end up losing 101-92. So this game's been playing, they've played twice, and both times it's gone under. But yet, with their recent games, we have it going over. I'm not going to touch it either way. I don't like either side. If I was going to do it, I'd probably take Houston plus the points, and they could squeak in a backdoor cover. But again, not one I'm going to play. So flipping over here to Clippers in Boston. Real quick, we can see that they've played before. The Clippers in Boston played back on December 12th. This is why I love having game logs. At home, and they beat Boston 113-93, beat them by 20. So no other matchups there that they've played. Boston, the last 3 games, they've been on fire. They've scored 24, 21, and 12, or they've won by 24, 21, and 12. And then the Clippers, they've been playing really good. They've been a good bet for us here recently. They've won 4 of 5, losing only to Philadelphia by 5. But then look, they beat Toronto by 11, Detroit by 11, Charlotte by 21, Washington by 9. So not great teams, but they're getting some wins. We've got it Boston by 5, and they're laying 6. Or I'm sorry, we have Boston minus 11, and they're laying 6. So only a difference of 5 points. So we actually have Boston coming back at home and winning this game. So if you were going to bet a side, I would probably bet Boston. But right now, I'm not betting against the Clippers because they're red hot. Out of the last 9 games, they've won 7 of them with 5 double-digit wins. So that's off my radar. Now, the other side here is lean over by 9. This is greater than 7, so I want to look at the over here and see if we like it. And I do. This is going to be my 4th play of the day. And we have Boston over 236, or I'm sorry, over 227.5. So our model has it at 236.7. So over 235, that's a significant number. So I want to look at recent games here. Well, look at the Clippers' last 4. 237, 273, 233, 231. So they've really been cruising. Now, keep in mind, last time they did play, it was 206. So it was much lower, but they're putting up a lot more points now. And then same thing over here. We've got 228, 257, 230, 229. So I'm going to take a shot in over here. And another thing I want you to notice is over here on the trends. Look at this. So Boston at home, they are 13-5 for the over. So home games, a lot of them are going over. On the road, it flips. They're 4-11 for the over. So that means on the road, 11 out of the last 15 games have went under. But at home, 13 of the last 18 home games have went over. So Boston is a good overplay when they are at home. And just the opposite for the Clippers. When the Clippers are at home, they're 3-15 for an over. So at home, the Clippers slow the game down. It stays very low. They're a 15-3 underplay. But when the Clippers go on the road, they are a 12-6 overplay. So what should jump out at you is Boston 13-5 at home, and then Clippers 12-6 on the road. So if you combine these together, you get what, 25-11. So that's a good trend play if you're following trends. So I like the over here, 227.5. Now once again, they've done it in recent games. We've looked at that. Our model has it going over, and the trend also agrees. So that's kind of 3 stars or 3 feathers in our cap that we can go after. So I want to go over here and look at the money and see kind of where it's at. Now this red, you can see this money's been coming in and moving around. Here you can see Thunder. The early cash came in and hit them, so that's good. That's a play that we liked. Celtics, Clippers. Okay, so Celtics, Clippers, the game we're talking about now. Look at this. Now this is exactly, oh crap. So this is exactly what I want to see. Let me flip back here. So all the early money is coming in on the over. So I expect this line to go up. It opened at 227. It's now at 227.5. 98% of the cash and 88% of the tickets. Now keep in mind, it's early, so this might be like $5,000. Not a significant amount of money for a sports book, but a lot of the money's coming in on the over. So my favorite play today right now is going to be this Boston over 227, 227.5, whatever you can get it at. Again, they could play this thing at 205 and I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm going to throw a unit or two and take that over. So again, the 4 plays we're going to go with: Oklahoma City, Toronto money line, New York over, and then the Boston game over. So those are the 4 that I'm going to go with. I wanted to go through the sheet and kind of show you how I look at plays, so you kind of get an idea of how to use it and how to flip through it. So I hope that helps, and I hope you guys win some money. Good luck, guys.